Hello, this is Michael Neer, an immigration lawyer and founder of visaplace.com. Lately, I've been doing a lot of videos about politics as they pertain to immigration. It's primary season in the United States, where the Republican and Democratic candidates are working hard to become the ultimate nominee for the general election. So I thought it's appropriate, and I still think it's appropriate, to do a lot of videos about the election and immigration, because invariably any candidate who ultimately wins and becomes the president will influence immigration policy. Today I want to talk about the Republican Party, in particular conservatism, the philosophy behind the Republican Party. Some candidates are more conservative than others, but generally speaking, when you think of Republicans, you think of the political philosophy of conservatism. And why this is important is because the candidates, while they disagree on many ideas, many policies, there seems to be a consensus when it comes to one thing, and that is immigration. All the candidates, spoken loudest by Donald Trump, talk about building a wall, talking about stopping illegal immigration, talking about immigration reform. And I find it curious because traditionally the conservative movement, philosophically at least, is all about freedom. The traditional view of freedom, as codified in the U.S. Constitution. Individual rights, limited government, liberty. These terms are mostly associated with the conservative philosophy. The idea that the government should be small, it should be restrained, and it should allow individuals to engage in free trade, freedom of enterprise, in business. But for some reason, when it comes to immigration, which really is about individuals crossing borders, coming to the U.S., most of whom, and I've said this in other videos, want to work, want to succeed, and want a piece of the American dream. And traditionally, America has opened its arms, opened the doors to immigrants. America is a country of immigrants. In fact, some of the greatest industrialists, the greatest scientists, the greatest teachers are immigrants. And even today, you go to Silicon Valley, who are some of the top CEOs or those who've come up with amazing ideas online, often Indian nationals or people from China or other countries. So it's all about the American dream, and in the conservative tradition, they've typically been quite welcoming. But unfortunately, in this primary season, in 2015, 2016, we're hearing quite the opposite. Now, of course, we live in an age of terrorism. We live in the age of concerns about border security. And that's all important and valid concerns. But the way the narrative is going, it seems like it's painting immigration with one broad brush, basically saying that immigration is a problem. Immigration has to be reformed. Well, I agree immigration has to be reformed, but probably in the opposite direction that most conservatives are advocating. Economically, it's just the case that immigration benefits everybody. It benefits companies. They hire, talent from all over the world. It benefits consumers because they get the best products, the best services from the best labor pool. It doesn't hurt typically workers, American workers, or local workers. That is an economic fallacy, and I don't want to go into all the technical details about that. But it's just an economic fallacy. We call that protectionism, which is really not. And that term, protectionism, it seems to be the driving philosophy behind at least the current Republican a position on immigration, which is unfortunate because, as I said before, the U.S. Has typically been welcoming to immigrants. So um, the concern really is that I think the conservatives and the Republicans are losing their way by getting caught up in this rhetoric, which sounds appealing to some voters, but in the end, to use Donald Trump's phrase, will it make America great? The answer is no. America's greatness has been as a result of its openness to immigration. And yes, you're going to get some bad apples. You're going to get some individuals who come and mean us harm, and who may commit crimes or do horrible things. But that happens domestically as well. That citizens are just as guilty as that. And of course, being a citizen, that means you have the right to stay in the country. And in immigration law, if you do commit an offense, you could be subject to deportation. But the bottom line is just because there are some bad apples, think of the big picture. You don't close your borders. What countries have the tightest border restrictions? Typically oppressive countries. Typically countries where there are walls. For example, remember East Germany. Remember the Soviet Union, where you need an exit visa to leave. You just couldn't enter. Those are the kind of countries that I think America does not want to emulate. So this being an ongoing issue, if you are a conservative, if you are a Republican, I urge you to think twice about what is being said in terms of immigration policy. Hopefully this has given you some food for thought, and have a great day.